So yeah, just a quick overview of what I'll be talking through. So I'll be outlining the routes to GMC registration. I'll provide a bit of an overview about the college's MTI scheme, the benefits of the scheme, and the enrollment process to join the scheme as well. So there are different types of GMC registration. So there's full registration, which is what doctors need for medical practice in the NHS. And there's also specialist registration, and you need this in order to take up a consultant post within the UK, and the doctor must be included in the specialist register. So for today's presentation, I'm just going to talk to you about full registration. Doctors seeking specialist registration or to join a specialist register, you're welcome to contact the college's training team at training@rcpath.org or contact the GMC directly for guidance. Excellent. So these are the routes for full registration. So there's passing the PLAB tests, which are professional language assessment boards. And there's the first exam, PLAB, is as a written exam, multiple choice of 180 questions. And the second test, PLAB 2, is an objective structured clinical exam. And PLAB must be passed must pass 1 and 2 to get GMC registration. And if you've previously failed one, you need to pass that one again in order to apply for sponsorship. And then another route is going through the acceptable postgraduate qualification. So on the GMC website, there's a list of postgraduate qualifications, either in the UK or overseas organizations that are listed as accepted by the GMC. And just so you know, passing the college examinations, the RCPath examinations, both of them, is an acceptable postgraduate qualification. Then there's another route that is the relevant European qualification. Again, on the GMC website, there's a list of GMC's relevant European qualification list of all of the qualifications that's accepted for sponsorship. Again, if you do have any questions about those routes, I would contact the GMC directly because they're the ones that coordinate those. So for today, again, like I said, I'll be talking about the sponsorship route specifically for the MTI scheme. And so this scheme has kind of numerous benefits, not just to the international medical graduates, but for the UK trust as well, because the hospitals and trusts get the opportunity to offer suitable posts to appropriately qualified international medical graduates. And this also provides an opportunity for good quality training for those international doctors. So it's mutually beneficial for the UK Trust and the international medical graduates. And so here's some of the criteria for the MTI scheme. So these are the posts that can be sponsored. So interspecialty training programs, fixed term specialty training appointments, locum appointments for training, honorary supernumerary posts, and all of these posts must be in approved practice settings. And according to the GMC, all designated bodies are recognized as approved practice settings. And again, there's a list on the GMC's website of all of the designated bodies, so you can find them there. And just to be clear that any posts that are locum consultant or consultant posts, they're not endorsed by the MTI scheme. They're not able to join because these are strictly only training posts that can join the scheme. So here's kind of an outline of some of the criteria and evidence that's required. So a doctor's primary medical qualification will need to be verified by the Educational Commission for a Medical Graduate, it's the ECFMG. They also need to send us a certificate of good standing, certificate of internship completion, evidence of English language, and 3 satisfactory references, evidence of active full-time medical practice, and then proof of the training post through a job description, offer letter, and a funding letter. For the evidence for primary medical qualification, like I said, you need to submit it to the ECFMG and they will independently verify it. You'll be using their online system, which is called EPIC. It's the Electronic Portfolio of International Credentials. And all applicants will need to be qualified at a medical school outside of the UK, European Economic Area, or Switzerland, and also not already holding a provisional registration with a license to practice. For the certificate of good standing, GMC needs to see the certificate of good standing from all countries that the doctor's been registered or licensed in, even if they haven't actually been practicing there. And the certificate of good standings are only valid for 3 months. So this is normally on the last piece of documentation we recommend doctors and applicants to get because it only is valid for 3 months. And again, you can find details of all the medical regulatory authorities for each country on the GMC website. And then the certificate of internship completion, again, this is that international medical graduates just need to submit that certificate to the college. Then to prove English language proficiency, there's two tests that you can do. One is the IELTS test, the International English Language Testing System, or the OET, which is the Occupational English Test. So IELTS test, you need to take the academic version. You need to get 7 across all areas, listening, reading, speaking, and writing, and an overall score of 7.5. And for the OET test, it needs to be the medicine version, and you need to achieve at least a B grade in each testing area. And yeah, the tests, both the certificates are only valid for 2 years. So you need to make sure when you submit your application that your English language test is still verified. For employment, you need to make sure you live outside of the UK. And for your experience, you need to have been in active medical practice for 3 out of the last 5 years and the most recent 12 months prior to your GMC registration submission. And the most recent 2 years must have been in pathology. Once the 12 months rule applies to when we send a document called the sponsorship registration certificate to the GMC. And just so you know, clinical attachments and observerships are not counted as medical practice. And we need to receive 3 references that verify this experience. The first must be a current supervisor or other supervisors to at least cover the most recent 12 months, And then the others can be your previous supervisors from other roles. And the referees cannot be personally related to you. So for employment as well, the college is not able to financially sponsor international medical graduates, and we don't have a list of vacancies currently in the NHS that are available. But if you want to find them, you're welcome to look at the job sites below here. The NHS, BMJ, or Oriel job sites are where we point applicants in a direction to identify these posts. And so for the evidence, so we need to look at the job description and make sure that the word trainee is included in the title, and it can come in various different ways of specialty trainee doctor, specialty registrar, international training fellow, but it cannot be specialty doctor. Again, it has to imply that it specifically say it's a training post. And also we need to see within the JD that there's appropriate supervision for the post holder. And then for the offer letter, it just confirms that you've been offered the placement, and the funding letter outlines the funding that you'll receive either from your home country employer or from the UK trust. And here's just an overview of the enrollment process. I won't go through all of this in detail at the moment, but it starts with the UK trust securing the post, and then it will be advertised. Then the doctor will send us all the necessary documentation. We will then check it, and if acceptable and accurate, we will send a document to the GMC called a sponsorship registration certificate. And then the next stage is we'll start the academy application, and the Academy of Medical Royal Colleges act as the sponsor for the doctor's visa. And if all that application with the academy goes through, then we'll receive something called a certificate of sponsorship for the doctor's visa. And we will send that on to the doctor. So through us, we help support with GMC registration and also with the doctor's visa. And here's just some of the application for the Academy of Medical Royal Colleges process. There's applications and there's other forms around the starter form, exemption report, and end of placement report. Exemption report is if the doctor's start date is delayed by any reason, or if anything changes to the visa, then we just need to let the academy know. And here's just some useful links. Like I said, I'll just hold this screen here for a second. If you want to take a photo of it, you're welcome to do so. This is a link to the GMC website. So it can provide you a little bit more information about kind of joining the register and the different routes you can go down. And then the below link is the Academy of Medical Royal Colleges MTI page, the medical training initiative that provides information about the overall scheme. Thank you very much. I hope you found that useful. Happy to stay around for any questions at the end if you'd like. And also, if you prefer to email any questions, you're welcome to do so. Feel free to email international@rcpath.org, and we'll be happy to answer your questions about the medical training initiative. Thanks very much. I hope you find that useful.